Hello, everyone, and I hope you're doing well. My name is Julian Szyszka, and I'm the Houston, Texas reporter for Construction Business TV. Today, I have the honor of virtually flying out to Rochester, New York to speak with Mr. Eric Pedersen, founder of EPVISUALZ. Whether you're a developer or a homeowner, EPVISUALZ is the company for you. Now, let's go behind the scenes and speak with Mr. Eric Pedersen. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Pedersen. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well today.
Can you just give us a little bit of an idea what EPVISUALZ does?
And what I do is I essentially draw pictures, and I work with home builders, homeowners. These images that I create are used for planning purposes and for marketing. So if, for example, I'm working with some homeowners right now, and I'm creating a model of their house on the computer, they can then look at it on their screen and manipulate with their computer mouse, so they can look at different angles of their new construction, and they can sample different materials, different configurations of the house, different types of finishes, see how the sunlight affects it, depending on how the house is configured on a lot. And the images themselves can be anything from a simple pencil sketch look right on up to a very photorealistic rendering, and many styles in between. It all depends upon what your taste and what your needs are.
For everybody to get just a view about who you are, can you talk a little bit just about yourself and your background?
I started doing work in computer, AutoCAD, computer-aided design, probably over 20 years ago. I was working in the contract furniture business, and I did a lot of work with very large offices creating cubicle farms, which were offices that could be filled with dozens or even hundreds of cubicles, and each one of them had dozens of parts in them. And in order to do this properly without making a lot of mistakes, it really needed to be done on a computer, and that was my introduction to doing CAD design. Over the years, it evolved, and I ended up working for a live event company. They asked me to research different types of computer design programs to help ease the whole design process and make it more efficient. And that very quickly turned into a full-time position. I helped them create an entirely new department for the company so they could use the designs to set up their events, know exactly where equipment was going to be placed, and to help all the technicians on site. And after several years of working with them, I eventually went into business myself. I very quickly realized that the best market for this type of work was in the architectural end of things, working with home builders and homeowners. So I shifted my focus within less than a year. Pretty much exclusively what I do now is to help them visualize their projects before they're built, and it helps to avoid making some very costly and time-consuming mistakes.
So what have you seen as some costly mistakes that have really hurt people in the past that your company alleviates?
Well, let's say, for example, you're a homeowner, you're putting up a new house, and you're not sure what you want the siding to look like. You go into the builder's office, and they have many samples in their showroom, but they're usually only about 1 or 2 foot square samples, and you pick something out, and you say, I think that's going to look nice. Months later, once construction is underway, and the material arrives on site, and the contractor starts putting it up, you look at it and say, you know what, now that I see it in person, it's not quite what I envisioned with a rendering. You can avoid these types of situations.
So just a little bit more about EPVISUALZ. Are there any projects that you guys are working on right now, or any big projects from the past that you would like to talk about or discuss?
Well, I have quite a few going at the moment. I'm working with several homeowners, everything from modest ranch homes on up to very large custom-built homes, and they're in various parts of the country on both East Coast and West Coast, and everything in between. And one of the options that's very popular is doing an interactive 3D model, where I build the entire house electronically in the software, and then I send that to the client, and they can open up a link and view the model online. They don't need any software.
So in terms of your customers, have you seen any changes specifically with your company or the way you guys have had to operate around COVID?
Well, when things initially started in the spring and construction got shut down pretty much everywhere in the country, that really shut business down. But as construction started opening back up again and everybody started figuring out how to deal with the COVID situation, business has been very strong.
What would you say for people who are looking to own a new home, just some general advice for these people, for independents or even home building companies? Where do you see EPVISUALZ playing into their new process?
Well, for a homeowner, perhaps buying an existing home, and they see a house they like, but they want to make some changes to it, I can create renderings at a very reasonable cost. A lot of people are very visual, and that's why I exist. I'll take those designs and put them into a very realistic format.
And it just sounds like an amazing opportunity for people to actually get a visual feel of their homes. And looking at blueprints will never be the same as actually getting a 3D model of the home where you can actually see the space and really just give back control on how you want your home to look. Just comparing the past to the present as we have all this brand new technology, and obviously as people are transitioning to hopefully using these 3D models a lot more. What have you seen as like the successes of people doing this? Have you seen that just a higher customer satisfaction rate as, okay, since we got to see a 3D model of our home, we are a lot more satisfied because we had more of a say in it?
Oh, absolutely. Several months ago, I worked with a local family that had a vacation home in the Finger Lakes, and the house was rather outdated and pretty bland, and they wanted to spice it up into a much more inviting house. So I drew up the house as it existed and gave them several ideas of how to incorporate some of the new look that they were after, and they were thrilled with the results.
I'm glad to see a way that technology can really be integrated and just help people every day, especially as people are always looking to buy new homes, and people of all generations can really benefit from having a 3D model and really looking to build that dream home. So in terms of that, have you seen that a lot of people when they are building that home, because of 3D modeling, they were able to like really take their home to the next level, to the next step, and build the house that they were always looking for?
Absolutely, that's the whole idea. And it's not just limited to homeowners. I worked with a developer who was putting up an apartment building. I was asked to create renderings of the interiors of the various apartments fully furnished so you could use them for marketing on the website to give potential tenants a look at what their life could be like in this new building. And through the use of these renderings, he was able to lease out the entire building before he even finished construction.
So you did mention you work a lot with developers as well as homeowners. So can you talk a little bit more about that side and how developers can come to you in today's climate?
Sure. I worked with a developer a few years ago who purchased an old estate up in the Hollywood Hills, and over time it had fallen into disrepair. I was hired to create renderings for the interior and the exterior that he could use for marketing the property. So again, much like the apartment developer, potential clients were able to see what the property is going to look like once all the construction is complete. I had another one where I worked with a developer who was putting up a wedding barn, and they supplied me with all the plans for it. And it's a very unique structure, very old-looking barn on the outside, all post and beam construction on the inside. And I created renderings of both the interior and the exterior in many different views so they could market the space on their website and start booking events in advance.
In terms of price, for people who may be concerned about or don't see 3D CAD in their price range, what do you have for them to say, and how can they know that if they go to you, they can still fit it within their budget?
The type of work that I do is a very small percentage of the total construction budget. And when you consider that the time that can be saved, the money that can be saved by avoiding mistakes of picking out wrong materials or wrong configurations, the renders often end up paying for themselves in that way.
I just want to say thank you again on behalf of Construction Business TV and Quality Trace for taking the time to speak to us. Just to kind of close everything out, is there anything else that you would like for people to know about you, about EPVisualz, or how EPVisualz can play into their next home buying or into their next development project?
I have a lot of different ways that I can help people. If you're planning any type of new construction, whether you're a private homeowner, a builder, an architect, or a developer, there are many different ways that I can help you with the planning and marketing of your project, and I'd love to talk to you about it.
It was great speaking with Mr. Pedersen today, and I hope that all of you see why EPVisualz is the company for you. For everyone watching, for all my developers or construction business owners, if you're interested in having an interview, we will have our contact information below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to be speaking with one of you very soon. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.